Let's get one thing clear from jump. I am married. I am not dead. Me and my wife are not polyamorous. Some of you have that confused. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That said, neither of us act like we don't know that other attractive people exist in this world. As such, I am a long-standing admirer of the female form in all shapes, sizes, and shades. I am not above enjoying a thirst trap or partaking in adult entertainment. There may be more than a few thirsty follows on my Instagram that I check out when I'm in the mood. I know many of you like to see me as your wholesome, wise uncle who gives good advice and makes you laugh, but I'm also the man that recognized all the BDSM coding in Tupac's late career photography. If you know, you know. Along with that, I want to put out there that this is not going to be a fully highbrow, overly nuanced discussion of women's bodies. I'll get into some gender stuff, of course, but the point of this video is more to analyze a specific moment in male-centered thirstiness. We're going to be talking about boobs. And I probably will not be citing Bell Hooks or Judith Butler in this one. Yes, I know how objectification works and why it's problematic, but no, I'm not of the mind that all forms of lewdness and titillation are wrong or inherently regressive. But if you happen to be sensitive to the image of straight men thirsting over women's bodies, this may not be the video for you. So Euphoria is a high school-based soft porno, basically, and for obvious reasons, wasn't really my cup of tea. Even back in season 1, before it got really ridiculous from what I heard, I noped out about halfway through the show. And I'm actually not as big a hater of Sam Levinson as a lot of other people. I also really love trashy media still. Euphoria was a hard pass. That said, in only a few episodes, I was not confused about why Sydney Sweeney, the actress that played Cassie, was one of the breakout stars of the show among a specific demographic, namely straight white men. And so for the first time in a few years, a new white woman with big breasts has emerged to be the apple of every young white man's eye, and more than a few young non-white men. And I find this phenomenon fascinating aside from the obvious, because I feel like it's something that's happened every few years for generations in our media, probably going all the way back to Marilyn Monroe and probably before then. If I had to track the lineage just in my lifetime, you have Jenny McCarthy, Carmen Electra, Pamela Anderson, Angelina Jolie, Christina Hendricks, Kate Upton, and plenty of others, I'm sure. My white woman sex symbol knowledge is mediocre at best. That said, these are all white women who exhibit a specifically white-oriented ideal of beauty, but with a little more weight up top, and thus kind of transcend into a uniquely lurid and more male-oriented space in their public persona, where they become the subject of a specific type of fandom. And over the years, these boys grow into men, and these women age, and younger women emerge, and that title just moves from person to person. It's like the Pope. It's the titty Pope. This normally wouldn't be something I'd bother making even a B-sides video about, but we live in weird times, because for some reason the emergence of a new popular white sex symbol has also been recruited into our ongoing culture wars. See, some time ago, a tweet went viral of Sydney Sweeney after she hosted Saturday Night Live, and her body was on full display throughout a lot of the show, and she ended the show in a low-cut top with the girls just kind of there hanging out and chilling. And someone on Twitter actually captioned this image with, "Wokeness is dead." I won't be showing this guy's tweet or name, by the way, because fuck this guy for real. Like, weird guy alert for real, but we're not gonna give him too much more attention. So initially, I, like most people, just laughed at this tweet because, I mean, I don't know where to start or say with this caption. I don't know how titties became anti-woke, but whatever. It seems like obvious rage bait. And when you look at the subtweets, it's either people making fun of this person or just commenting on the boobs. But then it seemed like he was actually serious, so serious that I realized he actually wrote an article with a similar theme last year about Kate Upton's boobs, and then had the nerve to title this article "Anti-Woke as Autism." And I don't know how to respond to that. And I actually read it, and it's just as unhinged as it sounds. It's exactly the type of non sequitur half logic that most conservative punditry is known for. And mind you, this wasn't the only take of its kind around Sydney Sweeney's breasts. Now, I know we live in a content industrial complex type of world, of which I am a willing though shameful participant, or I wouldn't be making a 15-minute video about white women's boobs. But this seemed to be a real talking point that emerged from various conservative and liberal circles, that somehow big breasts are anti-woke. This really illustrates the incoherence of a lot of the culture wars in general, and I will admit that there are definitely elements of the left, and of course its centrists and liberals who come off ridiculous at times for the things they will make into a think piece. One of the think pieces that came from this moment proclaims the giggling blonde with the amazing rack has been stamped out of existence, a creature shamed to the brink of extinction. And like, I don't know if that's true at all. Is there more angst and conflict over what types of women should be prominent in our media? Yes. Have titties been shamed to the brink of extinction? Not from the internet I be on. I don't know. Maybe y'all are on a different internet. I'm still seeing enough. But if and when they are being shamed, and let's be clear, they definitely are, we know who tends to do most of the shaming. The right is so damn incoherent on exactly what they believe at times, it's ridiculous. Like, on one hand, a video of a bunch of scantily clad or even modestly dressed white women dancing or walking to a nightclub is enough to set some dude screaming at their computer, and Taylor Swift is the downfall of civilization. Yet on the flip side, Sydney Sweeney and Kate Upton's breasts are anti-woke, and the trad wife aesthetic, which is very popular among the right, which is obviously connected to a specific kink and fetish community, is all the rage. Further, as I pointed out in my video, Conservatives Are Bad at Sex, the most conservative states in the country consume the most porn, and I'd add it's often the most extreme porn. It's almost as if because they're so regressive and repressed in their sexual ideas that they have to escape with the most intense pornography they can find. But even when you get away from white women, black conservatives can be just as confused about what they actually believe. For example, I am a day one stan for Janelle Monáe. I could tell what was happening under all them zoot suits she was wearing back in the 2010s. And I remember there was so much drama about people saying she covered up too much and she looked like a little boy. And that wasn't my perspective, but you know, to each their own. But then when last year she started blessing the world by showing her, I don't know how to keep, I've never put breast or titties in a script this much. And I'm starting to get nervous. Like, not just about the reception, but will this stay monetized? When she started showing off the goods last year, some of those same people were saying she should be covering up and that she was doing too much. When you recognize these inconsistencies among conservative ideology, you also see that the only real point of conservative rhetoric when it comes to women is them not being able to control their own bodies. That's it. That and a nice amount of transphobia, if you want to keep it real. Like, if you read between the lines on a lot of this shit, a lot of them is just being like, can we have only cis women that we admire, not trans women, whatever. But that's a video coming up. And if we really, really want to keep it real, all of that comes back to racism, because control and denigration of black women's bodies specifically is the linchpin to all of that. But like I just said, this ain't a main channel video. I don't have time for it. I do have a whole section about a lot of that, though, in that conservative sex video, if you want me to go in deeper. Also, Khadijah and Bo has talked about this a few times. A lot of the usual suspects that I bring up on this channel, T Noir, Kim Foster, Sean Spear, you know what I'm talking about. Just go and check them out. They'll speak more on it. But TLDR, the only thing conservatives actually want to be able to do is dictate what a woman's body is and what a woman's body does. They want to be able to say what beauty is and what beauty is used for. They want the breast out when it's on their terms, and they want them hidden away at any other moment where they don't want to see them. They want white babies, but they want black and brown women to take care of them, and they don't want women to have a say in the entire equation, including white women. And don't let the titties be attached to a woman assigned male at birth, because if they fuck around and realize that they like titties no matter what the gender of the person it's attached to, then people might really literally start getting killed in order to maintain the oppressive structure in place. So while it seems silly that a nice pair of boobs can somehow be anti-woke, if you really understand the nature of the threat, then it actually makes perfect sense. What doesn't make sense, though, is how fearful I am of this video being demonetized. I'll be doing my best. Come on. Everyone, boo this nigga. I'll be doing my best to cover up all the naughty bits that aren't appropriate for all audiences, but I'm not sure if it will be enough for YouTube sensibilities. But that's okay, because you can see this video uncensored, as well as better stuff if you sign up for today's sponsor, Nebula. In fact, if you like this video, I have two very interesting video series to suggest that you can only find on Nebula. The first is Unrated from Maggie Mae Fish, which if you watch me, then you probably heard me talk about her a couple of times. You've seen me and her chat on the B-sides. Maggie did a full series on the history of sex in film and media, discussing the political backings of how sex and nudity worked in movies, looking at the history of sex and sexuality and gender on film, from the silent era to the sexploitation era to modern erotic movies. Along with her, Burry Deschanel has her own series with a similar focus. Her series, Taboo, investigates the many ways taboos are presented and received in popular filmmaking. It explores a variety of films that attempt to shed light on the shunned, fringed, and uglier aspects of the human condition, successfully or not. And for obvious reasons, both of these series, which adds up to several hours of content, could never live on YouTube, so you can only watch them on Nebula. And this is because Nebula is the best place for some of YouTube's best creators to make interesting, analytical, and thought-provoking content in a way that isn't possible on YouTube. Aside from the fact that YouTube has some pretty rigid censorship rules, there's also pretty harsh rules about copyright and fair use of altered media that make it so giant corporations and media companies can come and take literally all the money I can make from an hour-long video for just 5-10 seconds of footage. This is one of the reasons why Nebula was created, because at Nebula, we are free from the giant big tech influence, and creators don't have to worry about unlawful copyright rules or recommendation algorithms that force us to make videos about what's trending as opposed to what's really in our heads. So on Nebula, you'll not only see my B-sides content uncut without ad breaks or ad reads, but you'll see tons of uncut content in a variety of genres, media analysis, science, tech, history, music, etc., along with content you can't find anywhere else, like those aforementioned series about sex on film, or maybe a series about human evolution from real science. But even if none of this interests you, understand that Nebula is the best way to support me as a creator. Aside from sponsorship, I also get paid a ton more for every Nebula view than I do on YouTube. I have significant projects in the work myself, and by supporting me on Nebula, you allow me to continue to expand what is possible for me as a creator, as well as others like me. So please use my promo code SIGNIFY-BSIDES to get 40% off a year's subscription. That's $2.50 a month for a one-time fee. Or if you're feeling really supportive, you can pay $300 for a lifetime subscription. Thank you so much to Nebula. I'm FD Signifier, and this has been Light Work. How many times have I said titties and boobs? I need to switch to breasts. I think I said titties and boobs too much. I'm gonna let you be the judge.